Trust the process. Pain is power. All great things take time. I am unbreakable.
Hello everyone, welcome to the UnBreakables Podcast, episode 17. I am your host, Jay, and this is my brother and my co-host, Gift the Poet.
Episode 17, we have the owner of West Grove Fitness. He is a Kona Ironman World Championship qualifier and a Boston Marathon qualifier. You can find him on the Addicted to Pain podcast. He has a powerful story of overcoming alcoholism and opiate addiction. He's going to touch so many souls. We're very honored to welcome for episode 17, Matt PAZ.
What's up, guys? So yeah, I'm honored to be here. Thanks for. I'm glad this whole thing connected. We have a lot of coming in here and talking, and it's nice to see all the connections we have with certain people that we came across in our life. And it seems like everything happens for a reason.
Absolutely.
And so I couldn't be more honored to be here with you guys. So thanks for having me out here.
Absolutely. We are very, very grateful, and thank you again for taking the time out of your day.
No worries.
So just to go back, what we really want to do is to dive into your mind, into your soul of who Matt PAZ really is, and really touching base on all your failures, your hardships, your tribulations, and what led you to success today. So who were you before Ironman?
Yeah.
Wow, who was I? So, I mean, I guess you could say, starting as a young kid, I grew up with two parents who are still married and had a great upbringing with my sister and my parents. My father was a PE teacher. My mother was a coach as well as an athletic director at a junior college. So sports were like a part of my life. I grew up playing sports from the time I could walk. All sports leading up to, as little tennis to gymnastics as a little kid, to soccer, to football, you name it, I played it. So it's just kind of the love of being outdoors and competition. I loved to compete, and I did not like to lose. So, I was, as I grew up in Stockton, like you said, it's kind of a, Stockton, I don't know if you know about Stockton. It's a rough town.
It's got a reputation.
Yeah, it's
Definitely.
a competitive town, I think. Just growing up there, you have to have that competitive chip on your shoulder, if you will.
Of course.
I'm going to go right to high school, Once I got to high school, I had to narrow my sports down to 3 sports, and I played baseball, football, and basketball. Loved all of them equally. But also when I got into high school, I was also introduced to a lot of partying. Here comes the stories, of being, I like to hang out with the athletes, but I like to hang out with some of the other people too. You know what I mean? Because that was cool to me, and I loved the way alcohol made me feel. I remember my first beer, it changed. It was like, I love the taste. Some people don't like the taste. I love the taste. I love how it made me feel. I didn't just have one. I had 2 or 3 immediately. You know what I mean? It just put me in a place, and it felt so good. And I knew at that point that this was going to be something I liked to do.
So how old were you at that time when you
I
had
think
your
I was
first drink?
14. Yeah,
Okay. 14.
And then, I think I smoked my first joint at 14 as well. But pot wasn't pot. I couldn't function off pot. It made me paranoid, and I don't know. I was weird on it. But beer, I felt it was like my thing. I knew we were supposed to hang out together, if you will. So
and the thing with alcohol is it's a social lubricant in a way. It allows people to socialize and be able to get easygoing and stuff. So I can see why.
And it makes you feel like you're not intimidated about anything. It makes you come out of your shell a little bit. Maybe I don't know. It just made me feel like I could hang out with these people and be myself, even though it kind of makes you somebody else. But that's the way it made me feel, is I could be myself. And so with that said, it's still, it never affected me as far as my capabilities in sports. I was always one of the better athletes wherever I played. I was always the best on the team.
So you always separated the two, no matter what.
Right, correct. I
Okay.
mean, I wasn't so bad where I was drinking before practice. I mean, it was always, at night, on the weekends, maybe once in a while as a senior or junior during the middle of the week if I could get away with it and
Right,
sneak it
right.
in,
But you were still able to go to practice and maintain discipline?
100%.
So you're functioning.
100%. And very dedicated to my sport and dedicated to my ability to be the best I could at that sport, whatever I was playing at the time. So, yeah, I definitely didn't get in the way. I was one of the hardest workers. I was always the most talented on the field, but hardest workers as well. So, which led me to a scholarship. I played both sports. I was very good. After I dropped basketball, I was very good in baseball and football. I could have played both sports in college at the Division I level. So my junior year is when you take your trips to college.
Right.
Okay, so that's when people start showing interest, and you get to pick and choose. You get 5 trips, 5 paid trips where a college can pay for you to come out. You only get 5. So it doesn't matter both sports. It's not 5 in football and 5 in baseball. It's 5
It's
total.
all together.
So I took my first trip to Fresno State, and that was kind of for both sports. And I toured the campus, and I liked it, but it was still a little close to home. And then I went to San Diego State, which I loved. My sister went there already, so she went there on a volleyball scholarship.
Okay.
Athletic family. So she got a full ride there to play volleyball, and I went there often to go visit her. And I don't know if you guys ever been to
The
San Diego
party
State.
scene, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean that was like one of the reasons why I want to go there. It was
It's pretty known for it.
Unbelievable. Yeah, it was so much fun. So yeah, I mean, at this time, I'm 16. I could party with the big boys in college. A bunch of the football players. I got introduced to them. My brother-in-law played on the football team. I was drinking just like one of them. I could handle my own as far as beer drinking as well. But so I took a trip there, and and that's where I really wanted to go. However, the football coach only wanted me to play football my first year, and I didn't want to give up baseball. And he offered me a scholarship. I said, I have to play both sports.
Right.
So I said no. Then I went to Long Beach State.
Okay.
And Long Beach State there's no football team, so it was only a baseball trip. But they are known for sending guys into the league as far as baseball. And I didn't want to. Having a normal job never occurred to me. That was not a possibility. That was nothing I even thought. What do you want to do? I don't know. I want to play sports. You know what I mean? So, I did my homework as far as how many guys they sent to the league and getting drafted and this and that. So I decided, okay, maybe I don't need to play football. Maybe I could just focus on baseball, and that's where I want to take my career. So I stopped my trips right there, signed a letter of intent with Long Beach State, and ended up here my freshman year.
What were you feeling when you signed that letter of
Oh,
intent?
it was a great feeling, man. I couldn't wait to get down here. So let me backpedal. My senior year is interesting. Okay, I don't blame anything on alcohol. I had a high school girlfriend at the time, and we grew up in the neighborhood. Played sports with her brother. He was a year older than me. He was on my football team. So my senior year, it had to be my junior year, summer, she told me she was pregnant.
Oh, wow.
So my whole senior year, my then time, girlfriend at the time, was pregnant, and I had that I was dealing with. So, that's just
You were starting to face adversity.
right off the
Pretty
bat.
early
Like,
Was it a wake-up call for you?
it was definitely a wake up call, and I had to realize. And I remember that probably to this present day, the hardest thing I've ever had to tell my parents was, my girlfriend's pregnant. Like the hardest thing, and I think that was one of my parents' biggest fear, anyways.
Of course.
Having these opportunities to go somewhere and play.
In a bright future.
Right, wherever I wanted, type of deal, and so. That was just, man. It took me like a month. It took me literally, and it was to the point where my girlfriend's mom at the time had told me, "If you don't tell your parents, we have to get this out." So they were applying pressure on me, and so I did it, and then I remember my dad telling me, well, are you ready to get married? I'm like, no, I'm not ready to get married. You know, like, no, freaking 18 or 17 at the time. Like, no, I got things I need to do.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So my senior year, I decided to, you know, I my girlfriend at the time, the mother of my first child, I knew in my heart that this was not meant to be as far as us raising a family. Like,
Right.
it wasn't like,
There wasn't love.
yeah, I'm a realist. You know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't going to be where we're going to raise
Something
this kid.
long-term.
Right.
Yeah.
So I made a decision to say, hey, you know, before my daughter's born, we're not going to be together anymore. I'm going to be the dad of our kid, but I don't want to fake this. I don't want to go 2-3 years fighting and then have to put our child through some kind of
The separation.
right. So I want their kid to know that there's dad over here and there's mom over here, and that's how you're going to be raised. So and I still had to follow my dream of going out and giving my dream a shot, you know.
Yeah.
So that didn't go over well with her. Didn't go over well with her brother. Didn't go over well with her family. So, you know, my senior year was kind of tough in the aspect of her brother's friends tried to intimidate me a lot, like at parties, and it was kind of a rough year for me. I had to watch where I went. So I actually didn't even party that much with my high school. My best buddy at the time went to an opposing high school. I hung out with that whole crew almost my entire senior year. I just didn't feel comfortable. I was always anxious wherever I went, watching my back, because I did get jumped at one point in time.
Oh, wow.
And they'll tell you that it wasn't because of that, but you know, that's neither here nor there. This was a long time ago. So anyways, my daughter was born in February of my senior year, and then I had to deal with that, you know, and I had to go to college. So my freshman year, I went to college. So I saw my daughter with my parents. My parents did an amazing job of flying her up or driving her up as much as they could on the weekends.
Of course.
And I would always come home and see her when I had the opportunity. And you know, I'm a kid. You know, I didn't know what to do.
Or you didn't know what responsibility was at that age, right?
Right. And again, I'm drinking. I'm not
Yeah.
don't forget, like, my head isn't all there either. But I also, so I'm drinking, having a good time, and I'm a freshman in college, and I'm doing well on the baseball team. So,
How were you performing in school?
good. I was, you know, school, I got by. You know, in high school, I was a scholar athlete. And in college, I, you know, went on to I got by in college and ended up getting a teacher. We'll get into that later. But,
Okay.
But yeah, school wasn't an issue. I found a way. I'm a survivor. I found a way to get by. I'm not going to say I never cheated, but I knew how, you know what I mean? I knew how to get away with everything.
Yeah, you knew the system.
Right, exactly. So having a kid and you know, and just, like I said, my parents did a great job of always, I'm forever grateful for that, of always bringing her around me. And I never hid my kid. I never hid her to anybody. I was proud of her. Anybody I hung out with, I said, oh, my daughter's coming to town. I can't wait till you guys to meet her. I had a picture of my dorm room. You know, I was always very proud of her. Even though I didn't see her all the time, I was still very proud of her. So moving forward into later years in life, my junior year in college, I was the #1 pitcher on our team.
Wow.
The Friday night starter, okay? So I was dating somebody that played volleyball. And I got hurt my junior year, after my junior year, and I had a Tommy John surgery on my elbow. So, again, let's backpedal. My junior year, I'm pitching every Friday night. I was also the guy on Thursday night that was partying, and people are like, "Aren't you pitching tomorrow night?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I'm pitching tomorrow night. Come watch me." But I'm like, they're like, "Why are you out here partying?" I'm like, "This is the way I roll, man. Let's go." I was just a nut, you know.
Yeah.
Did it ever interfere with your performance though?
I say no back then, but now looking back on, I had to have. You know, I had to have, even preparation leading up to it. There's things like, there's no way I could have given my all.
And what about your coaches, your teammates? Did they ever catch on to that?
No. I mean, not really. I was, I don't know. I think I hit it pretty well, how really much I was drinking. I think I hit it.
So would you hide it as far as even covering up the smell?
No, I would just hide it as how much intake I would take. Like, you see a guy 3, 4, 5 beers, but I was way above that. So you don't really know how much I was drinking. Only I knew how much I was really drinking. And I wasn't that belligerent, so I wasn't like all over the place drunk.
So you became immune, would you say?
Right, exactly. And I was always very functioning, like you said earlier. I was very functioning at what I did. And so that progressively, you know, freshman, sophomore, junior year, the drinking, you know, you just keep going a little bit more. And then I got hurt. And then I had surgery, okay? And then I'm introduced to pills. All right, so that was my first, and then I had a girlfriend at the time.
So how old were you at the time when you got injured?
22,
22 was after my junior year. So I was 21 my junior year, 22 I had surgery. Okay, so now I had my surgery, I had pills, and my girlfriend had surgery, and she had pills. Okay.
And did they prescribe you guys the same medication?
Percocets. And I remember taking them, and it felt even better after that. Remember that first beer I told you how?
Yeah.
Oh, the pills were like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
You know, like that euphoric feeling. It was just and I didn't need it for pain anymore. Now I was just taking them just to go to the movies. Yeah, that's how cool it felt, you know. And my girlfriend didn't like them, so I got her pills, and so that was my introduction to the pills. And they ran out, and then that was it. And then. But I just remember that feeling out the Vicodin. Well, it's Percocet's almost the same as Vicodin, just a little stronger. And we went. So now I have little pills in my life. My alcoholism has started to escalate, and now it's time for me to rehab my elbow. And I know 100% I kind of half-assed my rehab. At this time now, I'm definitely into partying. I can't remember how much. See, the pills weren't that accessible to me
At that time, right?
Right. I just knew if you had surgery, you could get them. If you had, whoever had a dentist and they had their wisdom teeth out, I knew you could get them. I didn't know any drug dealers at the time.
When did you realize that it was a problem? And were you actually paying?
No,
for the
not yet,
pills?
not yet. So that's a good question. Yeah, I didn't realize it was a problem. I knew I loved them, but I didn't realize it was a problem at all because I don't think I was taking them daily.
Okay.
Once they were out, I wasn't like seeking them. I was like, okay, they're gone. It wasn't like, okay, what do I, wasn't there yet. So now my senior year is done. I came back. I was never the same ball player. Again, I think I could have come back a lot better had I been motivated and my mind was how it is now, how I work. My work ethic now is on a whole different level and than it was then. Even though I thought I was working hard, I could have poured so much more into my rehab and really, but it wasn't as important to me. Baseball wasn't the number one priority.
Of course.
Because it couldn't have been with my drugs and alcohol. So my 5th year went by. I didn't play. I was on the team. I didn't play that much because I wasn't that good because my elbow wasn't that great because I didn't rehab properly. And then college ended. And now it's like, okay, now I definitely like to party. And I don't know what I'm going to do in life. My parents were teachers. My parents kind of said, be a teacher, be a PE teacher, you know. And my sister had went that route too.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, I guess so. So I went into take my credential at Long Beach State. And at this time, I also needed to get a job. So I got a job at Chili's in Cyprus.
Server?
Yeah, as a server.
Nice.
Yeah. And now that's a whole different scene. If you have ever been in the service industry, That's an industry where you work, you know, in the evening, and then people like to go get drinks after.
Yeah.
And you always have cash on you.
I knew a lot of people that did that.
Right. So, and then Chili's wasn't the best place to work. It wasn't that great of money. But I knew some people that worked at a bar in Long Beach, a bar called Shannon's Bayshore. And I got introduced to the manager over there, John, and I said, hey, John, I heard you have a bouncer position open, or you need a bouncer. He's like, okay, so whatever. So I got hired as a bouncer. And the bouncer at that bar, you do both. So you switch. So if it's me and you working, where there's two bouncers, right? One's at the door and one's behind the bar backing.
Got you.
And like every hour you switch. You just kind of take a break. One person comes in here. You have to be able to do both. But one of the bouncers was big and he was hard. They didn't like him inside. He was too big to go around the bar. So I liked being inside because that's where I love people. I love being around people. I love being around women. And I love being around the drinks. And that was a place where you could drink. At that job, you could drink.
Oh, on the job?
Oh, yeah, 100%. They encouraged it. It was no problem. Yeah. Lots of fights there. I mean, I liked everything. I had to compete. So fighting was like compete. I mean, it was the perfect job for me. I quit Chili's, was all in as the bar back bouncer. And then I remember, so we got paid like maybe $100 a night for bouncing / bar backing. And I remember getting to know the bartenders, like, how much you guys making? They're like, oh, like $300, $400, $500.
Yeah, they're making bank.
Fuck, I want to be a bartender, you know? So I would go in early every like an hour before the shift and have one bartender train me to be a bartender. And for like 6 months, I would just go in and learn. And then one night, one of the bartenders ended up in jail and couldn't go to work.
Oh.
I said, John, hey John, I've been trained as a bartender. I can do this. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, I got this. So I freaking crushed it that night. Poured drinks, killed the sales.
How was that for your first time bartending, and especially at a place like that? I know it gets really packed.
It does. You know the place?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the labor, like the local watering hole, man. Like it's like the
It's the place to be, right?
Totally, yeah. It's like a dive bar, but it's a party dive bar. It was, you're like freaking the mayor in that place, you know. Like everybody wants to know the bartender. Like the second best job of being a professional athlete was being a bartender at Shannon's in my eyes, you know. So I killed it. I loved every bit of it, and ever from that day on, I was never a barback ever again. I was always a bartender.
Now, while you were bartending, Matt, were you still consistently drinking?
100%. So now I have control of the liquor, and I guess I told you, if I wanted to pour myself a drink, and most of us did have a drink behind us, and we were just drinking it all through the night. Not to mention, hey, you guys, my buddies are coming in. You guys want to do a round of shots? We all do a round of shots, and this happens all the time through the night.
So there's really no excuse not to.
Really, I mean, very rarely did somebody stay sober behind there. Now you have to be able to do your job.
Right.
But very rarely did you'd say, no, I'm not drinking tonight. He's like, that was like frowned upon. So it was like, yeah, I mean, talk about like the perfect storm for me. And then, you know, Shannon's there, you get all types of people in there. So then, for some reason, I don't know how it got back to me, but somebody tipped me in pills. And I got reintroduced back into pills. And now I'm probably like 25 maybe.
So what was so it was about a 3-year difference, right? A time in between?
Right.
So what was your response to it when you saw the pills as your tip?
I remember.
Immediately took it?
Yeah, heck yeah. I remember. I'm like, oh yeah, these are badass.
Matt, were those the Percocets or were they a different compound?
These were now Norcos.
Norcos, okay.
That was like, that was the yellow Norcos, and I took them, and then of course fell in love with them, and then now I don't know how many I had, and I would take them for a month or two, and I remember running out of them again, and then I got sick, and I was like, what the fuck?
Like physically sick?
Yeah, like sick. And it took me a while, and then I was like, I was on them for a couple months straight. I was like, oh shit, that's like withdrawal. These are like withdrawals. That's what that is. I did my research, like I'm fucking withdrawing from these opiates right now. And I didn't like that feeling. So you end up getting to know everyone, especially if you're bartending, you can get your hands on anything.
Yeah.
So I ended up meeting some people and getting pills, and then now I know people that have them.
Right.
Now I have full access. And now I'm, it's just, I'm also finished my credential somewhere. Somehow I finished my teaching credential, and I don't think I have my credential, but I'm not even pursuing teaching at this time. So I'm making good money, and I'm living what I think is the best life possible for me. And so with that said, after hours, you start hanging out with people. You meet so many different people that are your friends, and people invite you to places. And then I always told myself I would never put anything in my nose, and I got introduced to cocaine. And I remember doing cocaine for the very first time, and it lit me up. It sobered me up immediately, so I could drink more. See, cocaine to me wasn't like the way the opiates felt, and it wasn't like the alcohol, but it allowed me to drink more.
And that's what you really wanted.
Right,
that's what you were craving, right?
Yeah, that was like my favorite, And so we partied. I did a lot of cocaine in my life too. I remember sitting here across from Ryan Fisher. Like, how many times, I did it. I was like, I don't think I did it that much, but I did it. It's like, how much do you think I go? It's like maybe 10 times. I go probably maybe 100 times, maybe at least.
Wow.
And he's like, and that's when we started laughing. He's like, I go, is that a lot? Like, I don't know, at least 100 times.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So I guess it's a lot. I guess he says it's a lot. So, and to me that wasn't that much, because I know people doing it all the time.
Right.
This is the life. This is my lifestyle now.
It's the norm, right?
Right. I'm living with these people that I know are doing drugs all the time, or drinking all the time, and cocaine isn't my thing, but I'll do it occasionally on the weekends. Never during the week, but pills were always. It's getting bad. You know what I mean? Like, it's getting bad.
So would you say that you were influenced by your circle?
100%. Yeah. It was bound to happen somewhere along the way. It was gonna happen, and
was there a turning point to where you realized that your circle was essentially a cage, and that you needed to get out of it and find a new circle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
when
absolutely.
Was
that happened when probably towards the end of my career, drinking. When I say career, my drinking career. But to get to that point, I wasn't even close there at the time. So I was starting to fuck up on my job as a bartender. Pills and alcohol make you do weird shit. Like, you don't you become a different person. And so I started fucking up on my job. I ended up getting fired. So now I have to go back teaching.
Okay.
So I'm a teacher now, right?
Completely different.
Oh, but I'm still drinking,
right?
Yeah, but I'm still drinking a lot.
And you're around the kids while you're teaching.
And now I'm a high school teacher, and I remember going to work, and I could not wait to get off work because I needed to come back and go right to the bar, immediately, right to the bar. Now let me backpedal. Excuse me. Even in my drinking, I would still work out.
Okay.
I was still able to do things that I love to do. I still played basketball. I wasn't like where I was talking about just now, where I'd come home from work and go right to the bar. I wasn't there yet. Before that, I was able to do things to work out, play basketball. But when I got fired from that job, and now I'm teaching, and now my life is being consumed with drugs and alcohol.
Okay.
And it's starting to get bad. I got fired from Shannon's. That's hard to get. My life is starting to get bad. I'm losing jobs. So I am at school, and I remember I'm drinking so much. I get off of work at 3. I'm probably at the bar at 3:30, and I drink as much as I can till like 8 or 9, and then I go to bed at 9:30 or 10, and wake up at 6 or whatever time it may be. And I'm not drinking before work ever.
Okay.
However, you can smell it on me.
Got you.
I remember my kids telling me, Mr. PAZ, 2 or 3 times, Mr. PAZ, have you been drinking today? And I was like, holy shit, this is not good. And I was like, oh my God, my life, what's wrong with me, And I got long hair. Have you seen my before picture?
I have,
I have not.
Oh.
So you actually, that's the picture that you sent originally, the before and the after, and I was like,
yeah,
holy
right? It's
cow.
crazy. I was a different person.
2 different people.
Yeah, I'll show you. It's insane.
We're gonna display that picture too
You
for
have
our
to.
audience.
Yeah, you have to. So it's it's to the point where I'm like, I'm spiraling out of control. Now I am not working out. Okay, that's my point. Is now I'm to the point, my last 2 years of my career, I am no longer working out. I'm taking, however, I didn't drink at work, I took pills at work. So when you get to the amount of pills I was taking, they only last like 3 or 4 hours. And then you start wanting more. You want to get that, you're chasing that high. And so when you wake up from a fast like that in 10 hours, you have to take one to feel normal, because or else you start feeling weird. And being dope sick, like withdrawing off opiates, is one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. It's the worst feeling. That's why people chase it, and that's why people go to heroin. You know, had I been around heroin, I probably would have shut up if I was to the point where I needed it. And thank God I wasn't introduced to it.
To that point, right?
I am 100% sure that if I was dope sick and someone said shoot up, I would have shot up just to avoid that feeling.
Yeah.
That's real talk, and that's what happens. People do this shit and they OD on heroin all the time.
So how did you get past the withdrawal?
I chased it with I would pay whatever. I was running out of money. Anything I could do to get money for drugs, I would. You know, I wasn't paying my car. I had to park my car at my friend's house in a different neighborhood.
So it got really bad.
Oh, it got super bad. Yeah, I mean, it was gnarly. Like, it completely consumed me. However, I'm so grateful for it. I don't think I would have 9 years sobriety. I'm almost have 9 years. Sorry. In December, I'll have 9 years of sobriety. I don't think I'd have 9 years of sobriety if I didn't take pills. The pills brought me down, like crumbled me. Like when I couldn't get pills, I would lay in bed and you get the shits and the sweats, and it's like an awful feeling. Like you're crawling out of your skin, you get twitches in your legs, and sometimes you couldn't get your hands on shit, and that's just the way you had to go through it. It's a terrible, terrible feeling. And I would try to drink more to avoid it, but it always come. So I ended up kicking pills one time, and I had to go to the hospital. I was going into seizures, and I had my buddy take me to the ER room because I couldn't move my hands. I was starting to freak out. Like everything was all fucked up, and they gave me all kinds of drugs to soothe me off of it, and I got out of there. And I was like, okay, fine. I can't take pills anymore. I'm way overboard. I'm addicted. There's no question. I'm fucked. Don't take pills. And so, but I can drink. So I'm partying. Still going back to the bars, partying. And a month later, I saw my drug dealer, and he's just next to me. He's like, "Want a pill?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." You just in the addiction, you forget. Like you forget how fucked up you just were a month ago off these pills. Like you don't remember that. And I took the pill. And I'm like, oh. And then here we go again. And guys,
same cycle, right?
Yes, it's a vicious cycle. And I'm taking when I'm in it, I'm taking 20 pills a day, and the pills are $4 or $5 a day. So you're looking at $100 a day for days in a row that I'm on this ridiculous pill habit, right? And I couldn't afford it anymore. I look in the mirror. I'm not the same person. And I remember. So we did have one bartender that was sober, crazy as it sounds. She was a sober bartender, and she called me outside, and she knew I had a kid and everything, and this backpedaled to me being a dad while this is all going on, right?
Yeah, you have the baby girl to take care of.
Well, she's not a baby anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At this point, she's probably 10 or 12 years old. I don't know, but. I still see her. She comes down summer times, Christmas time, Easter. I still have, but I'm not. I'm there, but I'm not present.
Right. You don't have that like full-time responsibility.
Yeah. No, and I'm not. And it's like, I'm with her, but I'm like thinking about like, when can I put her to sleep so I can go sneak out type, or when can I get my next fix, or when can I and I'm drinking the whole time while I have her.
So the addiction is pretty much just consumed you.
Oh, for sure. So, yeah, I was in her life when I could be, like when we had our time, but I still wasn't in her life, And it's funny, me and my daughter just had a heart-to-heart like a month ago, and I'll get into that later, and it's all comes full circle of what I'm gonna kind of telling you how I was as a dad. So, but we still did everything together. Disneyland passes, Alaska trips. Like, we did a lot of things together. And, but these pills, man, like I said, thank God for them. So the bartender, her name was Pam. She's 7 years sober at the time. She says, Matt, she brings me outside. And she knew I was better than this. Like, what am I doing, right? She's like, Matt, you're better than this. Like, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Like, you're fucking up, man. Like, you're so much better than this. Because I was still a good person before I got all fucked up, you know?
Yeah.
And that resonated with me for a couple of days. And my sister knew I was fucked up. My parents knew I liked to drink. They had no idea how bad the drug addiction was.
Or how deep it was, right?
No idea. They heard my first podcast and were like, holy shit, are we bad parents? Like, they, you know, like, they can't blame them, you know? That's just me. Like, it's just the drugs and alcohol, man. Like, fuck, it's a motherfucker. And so I remember saying, fuck it, I gotta get help, you know? And
how old were you at this time, Matt? When you really came to that
when I'm
reconciliation
40, so 31 years old.
So you pretty much blew your whole 20s.
Oh yeah,
drugs and alcohol.
Oh yeah, I mean, we're talking about spots of memory. I mean, I don't even, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
we're talking about cocaine use at late nights. We're talking about anxiety. I'm not going to bed until
sleep
like
deprivation.
Oh God, like
that.
I remember like smoking cigarettes when I'm high. I smoke cigarettes. I'm smoking cigarettes at 6 a.m, not sleeping, and people are going out for runs, like a run. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you guys are exercising, and it's like, and I haven't even went to bed yet. You know how gross that makes me feel? Like, how much of a piece of shit that makes me feel? It is just, it's wild where this shit took me. And so I had finally called my sister and said, hey, I'm ready. I need help. Like, you need to tell mom that I need some fucking help, and you need to find me a rehab place because I don't know what the fuck to do. I did not know what to do, like how to quit. I said, you need to send me far away. I know too many people around here that if I wanted to call and say, come get me out of this place, they could do it. I said, I need to go far away. So they found a place out in Santa Cruz in the fucking hills. And
for anyone at home who is having withdrawals from opiates, from heroin, anything like that, what's something that you can share with them, Matt, to make that decision to say, you know what, I got to get out of here and I got to take care of it right now?
Yeah, you know what? You have to. I was at my rock bottom, and you know when you're rock bottom, everyone has their rock bottom, and everyone's rock bottom is different. Some people need to lose everything. Some people need to go to jail. Some people need to kill somebody. I lost my life as far as what I love to do. I lost my purpose in life. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I knew I was gonna die the way I was going. There were several times where I'm taking so many pills. I'd pass out on the beach and not know where I was, and like wake up in the morning like, what the fuck? Like, what happened? Like, my heart could have at any moment stopped. Like,
overdosed.
Oh, dude,
gone in a car accident.
Anything. And I mean, you can tell. I don't know exactly the date of that picture of my before picture, but you can see it on my face. Like, we're fucked. Like, this is a place where you're either going to die or you need to get help. And so I was at that place, and again, I knew how bad the withdrawals are, and I go to the rehab camp recovery, and they tried to give me, what they do is they try to, for people on opiates and whatnot, they give you pills called Suboxone or Subutex, which is an opiate blocker. So it takes away. So you take this pill, and then you don't take any opiates anymore, but you don't have the withdrawal feelings.
Oh, it buffers it.
Right. Oh, completely. Like you feel normal, right? However, when you get off of the opiates, you now have to kick the Suboxone because that's got nasty withdrawals too.
Oh wow.
It's fucked up because I've come off those before. I've taken it and tried to kick it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what the fuck is the point of? It's the same shit. I'm putting chemicals in my.
It's a different drug.
Yeah, I'm putting chemicals in my body to get rid of this chemical, but I have to come off this one. So I went into the rehab. I was like, they were like trying to, prescribe me with this, and this. I'm like, guys, I don't want fucking anything. I don't want nothing in my body. I want to be chemical free. And I don't care how bad it hurts. I don't care what fucking happens to me. I don't care if I have seizures. Lay me up in this bed and let me figure it out. And they had a 24-hour nurse next to me for the first 24 hours because I was fucking going through it. But it was the only way for me to do it. Like, I didn't want to do.
So you went all natural.
All natural, fucking nothing. Just fucking let me sit there and suffer. So it took me 3 days to finally come around. Like, the first 24 hours, like, you've seen the movies where people are like get, you know what I mean? You've seen that. That's fucking real life. I was going through it, sweating through everything. I mean, it was bad. And that pain is like no other pain. Mm-hmm. So I got through it. After 3 days of the fog clearing, you know, I kind of became aware. Mm-hmm, and I told you I was always an athlete, and that was taken away from me. I never did anything exercise-wise in the last 2 or 3 years. And there was a big, long hill, and I woke up early before anybody and would start running up this hill. And that's kind of where I started, you know. That's kind of where my exercise path started. So after like 17 days of me running up this hill, I mean, you're supposed to be in rehab for 30 days or 28 or something. I'm in rehab. I'm doing great. I'm all in. Like, this is, I don't ever want to drink again. So I'm doing whatever they tell me to do. You need me to do this, this, and this. That's fine. I'll do it. Like, I want everything stacked in my favor. Whatever success is, or whatever that is the highest success rate, I'm doing it. So my insurance called because insurance pays for the shit because it's expensive. Thank God I was a teacher because I had insurance. Right. Right. And
everything happens for a reason.
Right. Exactly. Right. So they're like the insurance. The counselor's like, oh, he's doing great. The insurance is like, okay, we'll kick him out. It's time
just
to
like
go.
That?
Yeah. They're like, oh, we don't need to pay for him anymore if he's doing so good. So, like, and which is great because I didn't want to be there anymore. But I checked in on December 21st, December 22nd. No, December 20th. December 21st, my sober date. And I had to be in rehab for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve. Like, that's a tough thing to do. Like,
no family.
No, but nothing. It was like, that's why no one goes in rehab because that's what you're up against. Like, people are like, oh, I'll wait till the first. No. My time was now. I had to fucking do this now. There was hardly anybody in the rehab facility because who the fuck wants to stay there through the holidays? But I just knew I had to. And so I got out of there, went back to school, immediately started working out and running, and I started watching videos of like Ironman and like triathlon and shit. And I got into running, and I signed up for a marathon. And
while you're doing all of this, do you realize what's going on? Do you start to see, you know what, fulfillment is starting to be reached?
Yeah, I fell in love with running. There's something called runner's high.
Heard of it, yes.
And that's fucking real shit, you know. It took me a little while to get to there, but once I started running on a consistent basis, that shit happened. Like, I started getting high on running, like, for real. And exercise, that's why I'm glad I'm here to tell my story because it's, like, exercise saved my fucking life. Like, it gave me a purpose. Like, I started running and I started feeling good and I started building my brain back up because when you're doing these drugs and all these pills, you fuck up. You only have so much dopamine in your brain and you start killing it, right? So I started getting these good endorphins back, building my dopamine back, and I started to feel better about myself and get more confident. And I signed up for a marathon, not knowing what the fuck I was doing. And then somebody was like, Matt, you can't run all the time. It's like bad for your body. You can't run every fucking day. He's like running every day. Forrest Gump. And
run, Forrest, run.
Right? I'm like, slow down. So I started swimming. They're like, swim. You should swim and you should bike. And I was like, oh shit. I started swimming. They're like, dude, you're a fucking good swimmer.
So you're a natural.
Right, I was. And then I entered a triathlon and I was 220 pounds. And I took second there's a division called the Clydesdale division, and it's for 200 pounders and above. And I took second place, crushed it. And I was like, and then I started really watching the Ironman videos, and this particular one popped up, Kona, which is the World Championships.
Yeah.
And these videos, like, they're so inspirational. These stories of people just having these incredible stories that are doing these, people with one leg, military people, whatever. Like, they're doing this shit, right? And I'm like, fuck, I can do that. How do I get to Kona? And little did I know, you had to qualify to get to the Kona. Like, unless you were like had some special PAZ or something, you actually had to qualify to get to Kona, which was a whole different level. And so I made it like that was now my dream, right? And while I'm doing all this, I'm losing weight and starting to get my body back. And people are asking me, well, what are you doing? Like, how do you get in such a good shape all of a sudden? Can you train me? So then I started doing personal training. That's kind of quit teaching, got into personal training now, right? And then I met somebody else at a different at my first Ironman. I met, she owned a gym in Huntington.
Okay.
And I took first place in the Ironman. It was a smaller Ironman, but fuck that, I took first place.
Yeah, no, first place is first place.
You
And it's
know
an
what I mean?
Accomplishment, though.
Right,
Yeah.
totally. I did my first Ironman and I took first. And I met her, and she owned a gym in Huntington, and I was training in a different gym in Huntington. And she's like, come over here. You should check out my studio. So I went over there, started doing well in personal training, and I was like, fuck, I need to I was like, hey, how do I become an owner? I'm gonna own this place with you. Worked out a deal, became half owner of this gym, started training my face off, started doing triathlon. And then the year of 2013, I got competitive. I got good. I got really good. And I don't know if you guys know what a triathlete looks like.
Yeah.
But it does not. It looks like you, not like me. Like they're thin and smaller. Like 100. How much do you weigh?
Like 145, 150.
You're ideal.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm 200 fucking pounds. So like.
And it's weird too that you're doing that because it's something in Stockton, man, with like the Diaz brothers.
They did, yeah, right.
Everyone's into that.
You know
man.
what? It's funny. It's like we went to the same high school. Me and Diaz did. He lived around the corner from me, but he.
They would look. Do you know who Kron is? Kron Gracie. He does him. He trains him for jiu-jitsu.
In Stockton.
But, yeah, but a triathlete would look like that. Like he's
Right,
the same size as
exactly.
me. 150.
Right.
Yeah.
And I watched Nick do his one in Santa Rosa in Vineman, and that inspired me too, man. I'm like, fuck, I want to do that. Like, you know, like, fuck, why can't I can do that? And so like I was all in on this Ironman thing, and but don't forget I live in Long Beach. So I made it my thing. I wanted to compete and get to Kona. So I did, and I in the same year I qualified for Ironman World Championships in Kona, and I qualified for the Boston Marathon at 200 pounds. And so that was like, wow, right? Probably one of my biggest accomplishments athletically to date. Better than the scholarship, better than anything I ever did in baseball. Like, that was my shit.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even part of your plan.
No, not even close. And the reason why Ironman, the distance, it takes a lot of mental strength. So that's what attracted me to it was how much discipline it took, and how much you had to tell your mind that you can do this. Because the body is it's an amazing thing that we have, and it will do anything that you actually ask it to do. It can do a lot more things than people realize, and it's just a matter of how you tap into it. And it's mentally, can you tap into that deep powers that we have? And very few people can, or they know how to. You know what I mean? They can. They just don't know how to tap into that extra. You know, that deep down within it, whatever it takes. And I was very good at it. And one of the reasons why is because I always go back to those 3 days of me suffering in fucking rehab, man. Like, that shit was the worst pain ever. When I'm fucking hurting from riding my bike for 112 miles, that shit was easy compared to like what I was doing.
So you tapped into that pain and
Right.
used it as your fuel,
I was like,
especially
fuck,
when you
this
wanted to
feels
give up.
good right now. This makes me feel alive. I wasn't feeling good back then, right? I feel alive right now. This pain feels good. This is home right now. I like this shit, right? So I was on a whole different level, man. I love the pain. Like, that's why my first podcast is called Addicted to Pain, right? Because that was like, I crave that shit.
Yeah.
And so I was very good at just dealing and suffering. Like, pain cave, like, let's do it. Like, let's go suffer. So I was like into it. Like, I had this book, like, gnarliest endurance races in the world. Like, I wanted to do them all.
Do you read up on David Goggins?
You know, I got introduced to David Goggins through one of my clients at the gym I own now, and he was like, this book came out, it's the greatest ever, and I never read it. I see some of his shit, and I fucking relate to it. Like, dude, I fucking get it. You know what I mean? I totally relate to it.
Yeah.
I saw one of his posts on Instagram where he's running in 120-degree heat out, and he's like a fucking savage. I'm like, fuck yeah, like that's my peeps right there. You know
That's
what I
his
mean?
mentality.
Right. That's how I know
But
exactly how he feels.
There's a commonality because in his story too, he had to go to that dark place.
You have to.
And it's inevitable. It seems like.
Right. And like I said, it's just like everybody. Like I said, the human body is such. I mean, look at he's running 24 hours, like doing crazy shit, like. It's all here, man. Like the body will do whatever you ask it to do. I mean, I read so many. My first 2 years in sobriety, I didn't even have a TV. All I did was read. I read fucking military books. I read training books. I read some of the strongest mental people are mountaineering, because they're out there fucking. It's freezing, trying to climb Mount Everest, and they're fucking have no oxygen, and it's just like miserable, and that takes some mental strength. So. I fucking love reading those books. The Navy SEAL books, like I read all that shit. Like I just read, and anything with mental training I fucking loved. Because I was just, I could relate to it, and I just put myself into that place. And like and that's why I was good, because like 200 pounds, you're not supposed to be that fast. But it was never, like my first coach told me, it's not about who's the fastest or who's the most talented. It's about who's willing to suffer the longest. And if it's me, you, and we're suffering, I'm gonna fucking beat you, I guarantee it, because I'm gonna fucking die before I let you guys beat me if we're going head to head. I promise you, you know what I mean? Like, before, I was so on another level, like, I would, on race day, this is honest to God truth, on race day, I'd wake up that morning, I'd be like, I'd ask myself, and then fucking mirror, are you willing to die today? Like, that's how, that's where I gotta put my body to, like, fuck yeah, I'm willing to die today. Whatever it takes, like that's where at least I'm dying what I love to do. You know what I mean? Because this is living to me. This is my new passion. I found out what I love to do.
Yeah, and you found meaning behind the suffering.
Yeah, exactly.
Very powerful.
So yeah, I just the endurance, the running, everything. I just fell in love with it, and so I met my wife at the gym, my first gym, and then we got married.
Nice.
Okay. And now I'm trying to transition to where we are today. And so I ended up selling my half of the gym, because we lived in Huntington. You know, you have a partner, and you you don't always see eye to eye. One person works harder than the other, and your vision is different, or whatever it may be.
They don't align, right?
Right. So and we had a kid, and we had another kid. It's time to live in a bigger house. We had a condo. I didn't like what was going on in Huntington. There was a lot of gyms coming on the street. I worked on Gothard Street. There's like 7 or 8 gyms. I was getting saturated. And so I had that going on with a lot of gyms coming on. My partner, I'm like, I got to get out. I got out. I sold my half to her. I started doing my research. And I found a location I wanted. Didn't know anything about business. So now we're going to tap into my business right here, right? Nice. My career is over in triathlon. My knees are shot. I'm 200 pounds running, did 5 Ironmans, did 10 marathons. I mean,
Damn.
My knees are shot. And we're talking about running. I have too much running. I mean, that's not good for a guy that's my weight. So that's okay. I had a hell of a time doing it. So, but now I have a family, and I have to do whatever it takes to succeed in something I love doing, which was teaching people my passion of exercise. So we have, so I found this location, and I wanted a partner so bad, because I needed some money too with a partner. I wanted to go half. And 2 of my partners, one person said at the very last moment, no, I can't do it. Another guy, no, I can't do it. So I'm like, fuck, where am I gonna get this money from? Like, I need money, you know? And so I watch Shark Tank all the time.
Oh yeah.
Good show.
Like, it's a great show, right? Like, honest to God, like, it helped the shit out of me, because I learned a lot just about how to be on this side, and you guys are the sharks, and hey, I need to borrow money. And so my approach was like, hey guys, I have this plan, and I want to build a gym right here. And what I did was I found one of the local realtors in my area in West Garden Grove. And they're marketing, they kill it, okay? And they're a big real estate team. And I strategically wanted them to be a part of this, because A, they're selling houses, so they know everybody in the neighborhood. And B, their marketing strategies, their guerrilla marketing, they're everywhere, right? So I approached them and another guy who was born and raised in West Garden Grove and just knows everybody in the area too and owns a turf company. So I sat both of them down and I said, hey, here's my business model. Here's how much money I need. Are you willing to invest? And they fucking said, yeah.
Now, I do have to ask you, Matt, leading up to you asking them the big question, how were you feeling? Did you visually see yourself getting this gym and them saying yes?
I didn't know. It was the unknown. I knew Gift, I don't know what I would have done if they didn't say no. If they didn't say yes. I don't know what I would have done.
So you didn't have a plan B.
I didn't have a plan B. I was on plan D. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know what? Here's what I would have done. I didn't want to go this route. I had a couple, Long Beach State, a lot of baseball players went pro. I was real tight with Jared Weaver. I don't know if you guys know.
Yeah.
So he's like my boy, right? Like I'm in his wedding, he's in my wedding type of deal. Like we're tight. I could have asked him for the money, and he probably would have said yes. Again, I wanted a strategic partner. So that was my next plan. If I had to go there, but I didn't want to go there. And he might have said no, I don't know. I think,
Right,
you know what I mean? I
right.
don't know. But I felt like I was prepared in my preparation, in my presentation. I was prepared. I had a business plan. I did all my steps leading up to this, what I was supposed to do from the homework that I did.
Right.
I was ready to go, and how I was going to, here's how much money I was going to make 6 months, in a year, and in 2 years. And here's the steps that's going to get me to that point. So I kind of had a business model to lead up to, and they liked that, you know what I mean? And they saw how motivated I was. They're like, fuck, Matt, you know what? We don't care about that. We want you. You look motivated, you know what I mean? Like, that's what investors will always tell you. They're not investing in the fucking business. They're investing in the person behind the business. And they were like, fuck yeah, we want to be with that guy. So I got the money from them, had my perfect location, and got the keys. I remember getting the fucking keys. And it's like, oh shit, this is real. You see what I'm saying? And I have no partners. I have investors, but they're not involved in the daily activities at all.
So you get to make all the decisions.
Everything, right? And so I remember going to the park for an event and handing out West Grove Fitness cards. They're like, what's West Grove Fitness? I go, it's a gym that's coming. It's not built yet, but it'll be here in a month or so. I'm just doing whatever it took to get my name out there. I am now on social media, Facebook, doing my thing, trying to promote myself and get people to know me. And so I knew, so the tenant improvements, they were going to do the tenant improvements, but I was scared because I got the keys in the middle of November.
Okay.
And I needed to be open by January 1. We all know why. It's January 1, everyone wants to get fit, right? It's New Year's resolution.
That's true.
So I needed to not miss that mark. I need to be open. So I said, forget it. Give me a discount on my rate. Let me do all the work. Because I didn't, when you give them, you're on their time.
Right,
You know what I mean? Like, oh, we're not ready yet. You'll be ready in another 6 months. I don't have all the time in the world. I need to get this thing open. So I did. I got my entire contracting team in there on this limited budget. I'm cutting corners. I'm up till the middle of the night painting. Like, my parents are helping me paint. I got friends helping me paint. We're going at it, right? Doors open December 24th.
Wow.
Whoa.
And I offer free classes, and 50 people showed up on Christmas Eve. And I didn't know if it was gonna be 2 people or what, but I had 50 people and I was stoked. And so from there on after, from December 26th, 27th, it was free until January 1st. Let people get in the doors.
That's pretty awesome.
See me, meet me, see my style, what my body of work is. And then on January 1st, or 2nd actually, I offered a discount at half price for everyone that wants to sign up. And then February 1st, I had 100 members.
Wow, that's amazing.
So, you guys don't understand, like, I have a mortgage, right? My mortgage is pretty hefty. I'm a homeowner in Orange County, and my wife's a part-time nurse at the time, and I have to make money month 1. I cannot take it at 0.
You can't afford it.
Survival
I can't take an L. I need to be positive. So thank God I didn't have that much money. I had income, but it wasn't a lot of income, but it was enough because I didn't have any rent yet. So my first 2 months, I had no rent.
Got you.
Because I had that in the contract, right? So I was able to take all that money that I was going to pay in rent and use it as income And then month 3, I'm up and running, making what I need to make, paying my bills finally, still working. And it's funny, on my business plan, like the first 3 months, it was like, I remember it was down to the T, my business model, like clean on Sundays, clean the bathrooms. But month 4, you're hiring somebody, like, and I hired somebody, like everything, like you
It was
finally
all
had
strategic systems.
yeah,
that were
everything
just set in
fucking worked
place.
out, man. And like, and then granted, I had to evolve and do things differently.
course.
But everything started coming together. And then I'm just stoked and I'm living my dream. I'm just passionate about what I do. I just love exercise. Like I said, it saved my life. And now I'm just how I was in triathlon. That's how I'm in business right now and how I coach and teach. I just want to pass it on.
That's so interesting. Have you met Miguel Aguilar from Self-Made Training Facilities?
No.
He runs, I don't know if you've heard of Self-Made.
I have.
But he's been opening them up, and he really, what he does is he says all the discipline that, because he was also an ex-addict. He's an ex-addict. And the discipline that he got from working out and from just knowing how it is having that addictive personality, he uses that to his emails, to
Totally.
business meetings, real estate ventures, and it's been working. And it's
You just
crazy.
channel all that energy into what you're passionate about. You know, I thrive on my addiction. Like I was addicted to all the triathlon. I was addicted to the pain. I was addicted to all that shit. But now I'm addicted to the business. Like I've learned so much in these first 2.5 years. And then we had a mutual friend, Andy Dane Carter.
Yeah.
And we ran to him, and that aligned. And then I got introduced to Instagram. And it's like there's a whole other world. There's a whole other avenue of possibilities and reaching people, right? And
Helping people, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like my other friend that we know, Matt, like that you guys have met and talked to. Like I remember talking to him, and he's a really good businessman. He's like, Matt, like. Trust me, he was there for a lot of this. I used to be roommates with him, so he knows how I was.
He has an
and he knows
amazing
what I've
story,
overcome,
too.
and he knows all about my past. You know what I mean? He's like, Matt, your fucking story is incredible. You need to get it out there. Like,
It is,
you need
man.
to share it. And so that's when I kind of went all in on everything. Like, let's go do some fucking podcasts. Let's go get out there. Let's share my story. On Instagram, I'm an open book. Like, I just post everything. I let people know that, hey, I'm a normal dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a family man. I run a business. But I'm still an alcoholic and still an addict. I remember that. I'll never forget that. You know what I mean? That made me who I am today. And I'm not ashamed of it. I still live regret-free. I have no regrets. So I told you we're going to come back to my daughter. So a month ago or so, she comes into my room, and she's 22 years old now. No, she'll be 22 in February. Sorry. And she's, we have a heart-to-heart, and she's crying and talking to me, you know, and she's like, basically, like, kind of scolding me, like, you're not my dad, you know, you were never there for me, and she's making me feel really bad, you know, and I'm just like, before I even say anything, I just had to think, you know, and and now looking back, she's just angry because she wanted me to be in her life so much, more than I was, and I don't think she realized how much I was, even though I wasn't that present.
Right.
You know, I and I had to explain to her, I go, Kylie, you wanted me to raise you, is what it came down to. She wanted me to be her dad and be there every day, and God bless her, and I wish I could have been. I go, babe, you know, I'm thinking, and I text her that night, and I said, hey, because all this, I was thinking about it, I was like, do you realize if I had decided to stay back and try to follow you, I probably would have been you probably wouldn't have liked me. I probably been the worst father known to man. Like, I couldn't take care of myself, let alone taking care of you like full time. Yeah, I could take care of you on the weekends once in a while here and there, but that's all I could give. I was so self-destructive and so selfish. I wasn't capable of being a dad. That's why, like, I'm glad that I was out, because I didn't want her to see me that way. All she saw was me having fun with her, because when she was in town, we had Disneyland and trips and shit like that. Had I been there full time, she would have saw the ugly side, like the real, the you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the real me, how I was, like, who knows if she'd have walked in on me doing cocaine, you know? Like, you don't want to see your kids to see that, you know?
Of course.
And so, she, like, that kind of, her, that anger came out because I wasn't able to provide that for her, and I kind of explained to her why, and that's just the, you know, that's the drugs and alcohol that takes parts of my life away. Again, I have no regrets. It made me who I am today. I'm sorry I wasn't there like a normal dad again, but I have to just think everything happened for a reason, you know, and now maybe able to help other people. You know, since my last podcast, people are reaching out to me left and right saying thank you for sharing, you know, which is why I'm here. I want to share with you guys and share with other people. Like, there's ways to get out of it, man. Like, if I was at rock bottom, like I was there, like, fuck, man, I had nowhere else to go. And it just takes, you have to have been, no one can help you but you. Like, I didn't
at the end of the day.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like, no one can, I couldn't, my sister couldn't tell me to get sober. My parents couldn't tell me. It has to come from you. Like, you have to want it. And once you really want it and commit to it, you have to go all in. Like, just like I did, just like Aguilar does with business, just like I did with triathlon, just like how whatever you're doing, you have to go all in. I was all in on drugs and alcohol. Now I had to switch that focus and go on here. And that's just the way it has to be. I was all in on getting sober. Like, I went to AA. Whatever they told me to do, I did. Like, they told you, when you get to AA, they say 90 meetings in 90 days. I fucking did 120 meetings. I did like double, you know what I mean? I was like, whatever it took. I was all fucking in on being sober. I did not want to ever go back, you know? And that's just the way I live my life now. I'm all in.
And now you're celebrating, what, almost 9 years?
I'll be 9 years in December of sobriety. Yeah, thank you.
That
Yeah,
is.
fuck. And
Takes a lot.
It does. And I'm like, my life is amazing. Like, I remember one of the hardest things to realize for someone that is drinking, because when you're drinking and you're an alcoholic, your life revolves around drinking. Everything is drinking. Like, you're going here to drink, you're going here to drink. You're like, well, what the fuck am I gonna do? Like, there's so much more in life to not drink. Like, life is so much more than not drinking.
Sober,
like,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, but that's where you're confused. It's like, what the fuck am I gonna do with my life? If you take the one thing that's everything is predicated off drinking. Like, everything in my life was always around drinking. Like, what the fuck am I really gonna do? I had no idea. And then I got sober and I discovered there's endless possibilities. Like,
Endless.
It's crazy how I don't even think about drinking. Like, there's so many amazing things to do. I have appreciation for life, nature, like crazy shit that I never even knew what, you know what I mean? Like, you don't see that when you're in the drinking.
You don't.
Like, life is such a beautiful thing.
But I will tell you, Matt, it takes a certain individual to be able to go to those dark depths and come out.
Totally.
And to pull everyone else out with them. And everything happens for a reason. You're meant to go in there to pull everyone out.
Totally.
And it takes a certain person. For all of our viewers at home who want to follow you, who want to get motivated by the Ironman himself, where can they follow you?
You can follow me at MattPAZ28. You know, like I said, I'm an open book. I post my life story on there, my day-to-day. My wife hates it, but it's, you know, I love sharing who I am and my passion for life and my passion for sobriety and my passion for fitness, because for me, exercise saved my life, and I'm in debt gratefully to people that help me, and I want to help as many people as I can.
And you're going to help so many people, man. I mean, I felt your story on the Andy Dane Cardi. That's the first podcast I saw you on. And right when I heard it, man, it touched me, and I was excited for episode 17. I was like, let's get in here. I want to talk to Matt. We do this a little fun tradition. We play this game. It's a magical deck. We want to ask you 2 deep questions.
Uh-oh.
So we're not asking you. The deck is asking you.
Got it. Uh-oh.
Okay.
So
you can choose 2 and then just read them out, and then you can answer them accordingly.
Okay.
And there's no such thing as coincidence.
Oh, good. All right. First question is,
You can choose one more as well.
what possibilities are you creating today? So, like, the possibilities is basically, this is like the perfect easy answer. Like, I'm here for a reason. Like, we connected for a reason. It's to reach other people. You're podcasting for a reason, because we all want to help people in a way. You know, like, that's what we're here for. Like, that's my passion now, is helping people, and I want to create and show people that there's a way out. There's another life. No matter how low you are, you can still get out. I will always remember this. When I was in rehab, there's some fucked up people in rehab, right? And there was a guy in rehab, that, like, a homeless dude, like, and he's next to me and he's telling his story. It's like, before I heard him, you look at him and you're like, why the fuck am I here with this guy? And then he tells a story and it's like, dude, he's no different than I am. Like, we suffer from the same shit, you know? Like, we can all come out of this. He came out of it. I came out of it. It's just, and I want to show people that no matter where you are in it, there is a way out, and there is possibilities for everyone, and there is a purpose for your life, you know? And I'm living proof of it.
Oof. And you exchanged one addiction for another, which is fitness, and now you're paying it forward, and you're touching so many lives already.
I am, and I love doing it, and you can say it over and over again. Everything happens for a reason, you know, and thank you, Lord, for giving me this opportunity. Next,
one more.
Let's do this. I gotta get my hands on some of these cards. These are kind of cool. What are your insecurities? This is easy. This right here, talking live and talking.
No way.
I swear, I do not like being on film. I do not. As much as I'm on this thing, like I'm on this thing all the time doing this, right? Because Andy Carter told me I had to do it, and because people tell me I have to.
Shout out Andy Dane Carter.
You know what I'm saying? Ryan Fisher, same thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but I just don't like. I don't feel. It's just not who I am. As far as, I'm just not so. What's the word where you're extrovert?
Extrovert.
Yeah, I'm not like super, like that's not who I am really. You put me in a gym full of 100 people and me teaching a class, fucking yeah, I'll take command and I'll be this. But you put a camera in front of me like this and it's like, oh, everything changes. So I'm super insecure in front of the camera.
I will say you handle it very well.
Yes.
We could not tell, man.
Thanks.
Couldn't tell at all.
Not at all.
So yeah, that's my insecurity. And you know what? And one piece of advice for people that are like me, you just got to keep doing it, you know, that are insecure. You get better. I have definitely gotten better in front of it, and just like anything else in life, you just got to keep doing it, and you got to go all in. Like, just like everything else, I'm all in on touching people. I'm all in on this thing. I know this is the next step in my life, so I'm definitely all in on whatever it takes, you know. So, however, it's my insecurity, I'm still going to move forward with it and do whatever it takes.
And you're working on it daily.
100%. Yeah.
Awesome. We want to say thank you again, Matt, for being on our show for episode 17. Everyone at home, if you're moved by Matt's story, we advise you while you're young, you need to get a mentor. Mentorship's very important because when you have direction, you have purpose, and that brings meaning to your life. If you're looking for a mentor right now and you don't have capital to really succeed in the goals and endeavors that you like to, look no further. Think big, work small. He has a mentorship program that's amazing. David Albanese. That's Think Big, Work Small. Follow him on Instagram and Facebook at Think Big, Work Small.
Yes, and if this message resonated with any of you guys, like it and share it with somebody in need. There are so many people that suffer from addiction. And like Matt said, there are many addictions out there, whether it's drugs, alcohol, whatever it is. Like, there is a way out, but you got to decide, you got to commit, and you got to be determined to get out of it. And just know it's never too late. Decide today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to contact Matt.
Please, yeah. I mean, I will respond to every single DM. I always do. I get them all the time about drugs and alcohol. I will always. I hold a special place in my heart for people going through what I did. So if you need help and you have questions, I will 100% get back to you.
Thank you again, Matt. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Unbreakable. Unbreakable.